See? By the time you begin turning, it's too late. This is huge. It's not small. It's not like pedantic, right? By the time you begin turning, it's too late and he can get in your range now. So what you're doing wrong is that there's two types of spacing, okay? The way you're spacing is you're reacting to the enemy. So you're doing reactive spacing. What that means is that you wait until you see the enemy's intentions or actions, or you think about the enemy's intentions in general to decide how you're gonna space. So you're spacing off of what the enemy does, right? The reason why this is bad is like many reasons. The most important one is that you will always have like a delay between what the enemy does and you reacting to the enemy doing so. And that delay is usually enough to make up most of the distance between you and them, so they can now hit you. What you gotta understand about range that you're not understanding is that it's a binary thing, okay? You're either in range or you're not in range. It's not a spectrum. So why does this matter? Because it's the same from the point of view of the enemy. You're either in the range of that Wukong E or you're not, okay? So let's see a couple of things first, okay? Let's Google the Wukong's E range. So you see a range 650, right? The Wukong E range goes to the center of your hitbox, right? If this is the hitbox of the enemy, most targeted abilities will be like, this is the Wukong E range. It needs to touch the center of the hitbox of the guy to be able to cast it. However, auto attacks actually don't work like that. So auto attacks can be casted when it's on the edge like this, look. There, see? So that means that Wukong E range is 650, but realistically it's like 630, 620. Whereas your Q auto attack range, can you guess how much it is when you have 5 points in Q late?
Shit. I couldn't tell you.
You know Caitlyn's range?
Is Caitlyn 650?
Caitlyn is 650, yes.
Oh, I did know that one. Okay.
Okay. So,
Jinx is longer than that. Jinx is like what,
okay.
720?
So you can see here. 725, okay. Let's say that right now I'm in Wukong's E range, okay? This is Wukong's E range here, okay? And I'm gonna lock my camera so this doesn't move. F9. Do you know this? You can lock the camera and even if you do this, it won't move.
Oh, yeah, like if you lock a camera.
No, but it's not locked because see how I'm moving and it's not following me? It's like locked in this place. It won't move from this place.
Didn't know you could do that.
Yeah, and you know this as well, look. Yeah, there. You can play like this.
What the fuck?
Yeah. So let's say this is Wukong's auto attack range, okay? Not auto attack, sorry, E range. So the issue is that here I am in his E range and I can hit him. So this is bad, right? So the first basic thing about spacing is that you want to be in what you would call the Goldilocks zone, where you can hit them, yet they can't hit you. So if we are going to draw that, like this is where, right? So this is the first basic concept, pretty simple. So here it's bad. Here it's too far away. If you're like farther than here, it's a bit too far away. So the Goldilocks zone where you can hit and they can't hit you is more like here, right? But be careful because the thing you're doing wrong is that you're playing, and the developers do it all the time, is like you're playing as if all of this yellow area is okay. And that's not true. Because when you auto-attack someone, you stand still for a brief couple frames because of your auto-attack animation. So this Goldilocks zone is actually shorter than this. I drew it bad intentionally. Sure, if I walk here, okay, let's say that if I walk here, I am also out of the Wukong's E range yet. He can't hit me. But in the time it takes me to auto attack, he can actually hit me.
Yeah, because you have to auto, and as he's walking at you, then he can eat you.
Right. So the number one thing, so the first thing that you're learning now is that the Goldilocks zone is actually shorter than it seems. So this is actually forbidden, and the only Goldilocks zone is like this. So this tiny yellow thing is where you should be playing. But it goes beyond that. The other thing you're doing really wrong is that you're keeping the mouse far away from your champion, and what you do is that you wait until the Wukong walks to you to begin turning. Or, for example, you wait until the Vayne starts walking on you to begin turning. The reason this is really bad is that you have a delay in which you see it happen and you turn. You have reaction time. Plus, the time it takes you to move the mouse, etc. And the fact that, Vayne Q is faster than your movement and Wukong E is faster than your movement. So, if you react, so that's what we call reactive spacing, and that's wrong. So, reactive spacing is super wrong and you don't want to do it. And this is what you're doing right now. This is bad. So what you want to do instead is preemptive spacing or proactive spacing, which means after most auto attacks, even without seeing what the enemy is gonna do. So if you watch any challenger DC play, when the auto attack is flying through the air, they already have the mouse behind them. So like this. Okay. and you go in and out. So the issue is auto attacks have a cooldown. So why do we do this? Because auto attacks have a cooldown. In between each auto attack, you can't hit. So it's sort of how in a shooter game you would like hide between each shot of your sniper or whatever, because you can't hit. So in League, the equivalent of hiding in League is getting out of range. So like you wanna auto attack it back, auto attack it back. So notice how this is way easier for me because I'm keeping the most close to my champion, right? If I wasn't keeping the most close to the champion, it becomes harder. So the thing you're doing wrong is that most of your deaths, you're like... And then when they walk to you, walk back. And see how that tiny step that I did forward, or the fact that I took like, you know, half a second more to walk back, that's enough.
That'll kill you in a late game team fight. Yeah. That'll kill you.
Or in lane as well, you will lose a trade, because that's enough for the Vayne Q to hit you. That's enough for the Lulu Q to hit you. That's enough for anything. Like, this is why in lane you're getting out-traded so much. You're outranging the Vayne in lane by like 60 or 70, because in level 1 your Q is like 610, and Vayne auto attack is 550. So you outrange for like 60, then in level 3 you outrange by like 70, 80, and you're still getting hit by her. How? Because you're not spacing, right? The three main teachings that you're doing wrong is, number one, you're keeping the most really far away from the champion, so everything you do is very late. Number two, you're reactively spacing. You're waiting, thinking about the enemy's intentions and waiting to see what they do, and then you space. So you give them a couple frames to get close to you, which is really bad. And number three, you're not hitting at the max range. So this is the max range, right? This is max range. But you are not hitting here. I saw you play. You hit here. That's bad. You think this is the max range, but it isn't, okay? This is a huge difference. This is like more than 100 range difference, okay? This is like 150. So I am hitting here. You are hitting here. And add that to the fact that you delay and in turning. You see how he's clicking back before the Tristana turns on him? Yeah, but this is really standard, right? Like anyone in Challenger will do this. But the important part is... You see that? Look at the mouse and look at Ash. Do you see how he's already clicking?
Started yet.
Right. Yeah, this is a perfect example. See how the auto attack is about to come out and your mouse is still on Wukong? You see that?
Yep.
You see how his face is already looking at you? His face is already pointing towards you. His mouse is already on you. Yet, your champion hasn't begun turning at all yet. And your mouse is still on Wukong. See, this is the mouse. So again, we can compare this frame, your mouse on Wukong, while the rocket is already out a long time ago. So we have rocket here and mouse here. We can compare it to the Ash, the mouse here, and the auto attack here, right?
Makes sense.
This is why, see? By the time you begin turning, it's too late. This is huge. It's not small. It's not like pedantic, right? By the time you begin turning, it's too late and he can get in your range now. Okay? And that's why you die. Because at this point, yeah, what are you gonna do? And again, same thing. Look. See how you're clicking forward and going melee instead of spacing out? One thing you gotta understand about range champions is that because range is the most powerful stat in the game, every champion that is range will have weaker stats to compensate. So you will have weaker armor, weaker AD, weaker attack speed. So you're never gonna beat anyone melee range like that. Like you can see your build is a bit more items than him, and he has an item that shouldn't be that good against you, which is Mortius, but he still beats you up 2v1. Because that's how it works, right? Like melee versus ranged. And you could argue like, okay, you didn't flash, didn't barrier, but the whole point is that you shouldn't need to. He doesn't even have boots, by the way. Look at your movement speed, it's 388. His speed without boots is like probably 375, 370. So yeah.